Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We're back here for another short episode of the Unfiltered Experience with myself, Christopher Rausch, and of course, I am joined by Mr.
Scott Goyette.
And we are here to talk to you today about something very serious, and it's kind of a preemptive little sneak peek into what our show is going to be this coming Friday night, the 29th. We want you definitely to be there. It's going to be a 2-hour episode, and the topic for today's little mini discussion is: have you ever been wrongly accused of something in your life? Have you ever been wrongly accused of something at work? Have you been ever wrongly accused of anything out in society? Scott, have you ever been wrongly accused of something?
Yeah, I mean, like all of us, a bunch of times, and minor compared to the one we're going to be talking about on Friday. But I remember working at a restaurant years ago, and I'm a pretty hyperactive guy, right? A little bit spastic sometimes. And of course, we're older, so you don't see it as much here. But in my 20s, you definitely would have seen it. And the guy who was in charge of the restaurant, the manager, he was swearing up and down. He's like, I know that I've seen him in the bathroom doing cocaine. I know I've done this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, and this is back in a time where I didn't even really comprehend what all that stuff was. You might have gotten high on occasion or whatever. So I'm listening to this guy telling me I'm high on coke. And I'm like, if I'm high on coke, well, just somebody give it to me at least. Like give me the deal. But to end up getting to a point where he wanted to fire me, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, this is actually exactly who I am. So follow me in the bathroom, open the door. It's not happening. And so, that's a really frustrating thing when you're listening to somebody say you've done something and you haven't, and completely minor compared to this. But I always go back to that moment where I'm like, is he kidding me? Like, you actually think you're almost kind of losing your mind. You're like, he's not serious, right? So really weird stuff. What about you?
Jeez. And think about that question, dude. I have had more than a few instances where I've been wrongly accused of different things. And the one that kind of sticks out in my mind, thinking about, our guest that's coming up on Friday, there was this weird situation. There was the first one that popped in my mind. So I'm just going to go with that one. There was a situation way back when I was married to my first wife, Tammy, and I was getting a bunch of dental work done. So I was high on, speaking of high, I was high on pain medicine and all this other stuff. And to take my mind off, I think I had 2 root canals in one day or something. I was crazy. I was in so much pain. I was on laughing gas. I was on all the other stuff, but I was just kind of punch drunk. And so she said, let's just go to the movies. And so we asked one of our friends, hey, you want to go to the movies with us? It was like the afternoon on a Thursday or something like that. And she's like, yeah. So we're cruising in the car and they're just having fun. Those 2 girls are in the front seat blasting Madonna, and out of the back seat, I just go out of the window. I'm like, yeah, let's party. Woo, woo. They're just playing Madonna like a virgin. I'm a total metalhead with long hair and a leather jacket. And I'm just screaming out the window. And we go, it's in Huntington Beach. And we go into, people are familiar with that area. So we go into Beach and Warner. We go into the walk-in theaters there. And my gym was right there, and it's a whole business district and everything. And as soon as we pull in, we were going to let Laura out to go get the tickets, and we were going to go park the car. As soon as we pulled in there, right in front of the movie theater, a cop pulls us over. And I was like, are they really pulling us over? And I kid my wife, and I said, what did you do? I'm sitting in the back seat. And I said, what did you do? What did you do? She goes, I don't know. And sure enough, we thought, well, maybe the cops are going to the movie theater or something like that. I'm sitting back there just in miserable shape. And I'm like, okay, let's go get this movie theater done and everything else. And all of a sudden the cop comes up to the car and he comes up to my seat and he goes, sir, please exit the vehicle. And I just looked at him like, are you guys punking me? I thought, because I used to play jokes on everybody. So I thought they were messing with me. And I'm just like, I'm in the back seat, officer. I didn't do anything. I'm not even driving. I mean, what do you want? Exit the vehicle now, sir. And Tammy's like, sir, that's my husband. Da, da, da. And he's like, exit the vehicle now. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I get out of the vehicle and I'm like, what? And I'm expecting, whatever. Just, I had zero idea. All of a sudden he spins me around, pushes me up against the car, puts my hands behind my back and says, ladies, is this man harassing you? And I'm in front of the movie theater, and for a Thursday afternoon, there was probably about 30 people out there. It was pretty busy. Can't remember if it was summer vacation or whatever it was. I know I was immediately embarrassed. I was like, what the hell is this going on? I kept turning my head and I'm like, officer, what did I do? And he says, just shut up. And I said, officer, what'd I do? And then all of a sudden Tammy and Laura start freaking out and they're like, what's going on? And there's a crowd gathered around and I'm like, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? He goes, sir, if you ask me one more time, I'm taking you into custody right now. And I was just like, what the fuck did I do? Holy shit, Jesus Christ. I'm shaking in my boots. I'm like, I got blood in my mouth and everything because I'm just like, stressed out. And so, of course, me being stupid, I'm like, he's like, hang right here, license, and let me see your driver's license. I said, I don't have my driver's license. I said, I'm riding in the back seat. I said, officer, just please tell me what I did. Spins me around, puts me on the floor, puts both of my hands and puts me in the pig hold or whatever, with my hands and my legs tied. Everybody's screaming and freaking out. And all of a sudden his partner is talking to my wife. And she's like, no, he didn't do anything. That's my husband. And I'm laying on the floor and I'm looking up at these people and they're looking at me and I'm just going, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? And all of a sudden he's like, no, he had dental work. He's on Vicodin and we're just going to the movies. He was just shouting out the window. Let's party. He's sowing his oats and And finally the crowd started getting a little pissed off and going, what's this all about? What's this all about? And then I thought I got pissed off and I said, fuck you. I said, if you're going to take me into custody, take me into fucking custody, but tell me what the fuck I did. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, for language, but I just wanted to let you know exactly what I said. And a few moments later, I was released out of my handcuffs and returned to my car. And not so much as an apology or anything else. He just looks at me and he goes, sir, we're just looking out to make sure that that the women in the city are protected. So you should thank us.
Wow.
I'm like, I just got humiliated. I probably know some of these people. Fortunately, I didn't know any, but I was just humiliated. And I was just like, wow, just from yelling out of a window, hey, let's party. And this is eons ago. I couldn't even imagine if I did it now and probably be taken into custody. Oh, look, there's heroin in his pocket or something like that. I don't know. But when I think of somebody being wrongly accused, especially in the situation of what Jimmy Dennis went through, our guest that's going to be here on Friday night, being wrongly convicted of a murder he did not commit, that he could not have committed, that he didn't even match the physical description of the suspect that committed the murder, was in a different part of town, actually in a bus, if I remember correctly, and then wound up spending not 1 year, not 2 years, not 10 years, not 15 years, but 25 plus years on death row for a murder he did not commit. What do you think about that, Scott?
I think it's absolutely insane. And actually, what's crazy, you just jogged my memory when you were actually explaining him and explaining your story. When I was a freshman in college, I was playing for the basketball team, and our manager, he lived in Washington, D.C., and we went to school in the Boston area. So he never got to see his family. He was up there the whole time. So I'm like, hey, why don't we take a ride to my house? Because I lived about 45 minutes away. And so, in relation to Jimmy Dennis, I can only imagine how these things go down. And we'll mention in a minute, but he's a black man, Jimmy Dennis. Well, my friend who was a manager was also black. He decided to drive me home, and he was going to spend the night, get some home cooking, do some laundry, all the things that college kids do, or if our parents are kind enough to let that happen. So we're driving down the highway and we get pulled over by a cop, and we don't think anything of it. We're just like, we weren't speeding. We weren't doing anything. And I'm sitting in the driver's seat. Guns drawn, come flying out. 2 more cops come out screaming at us to get out of the car. We had to get down on our hands and knees, lay on the ground. And it turns out they thought because they saw a black man driving a car that was similar, and they kept saying a black man, a black man, a black man, a black man. I just repeatedly, guns against us. Somebody had robbed a bank and they're swearing it's us. And they were treating us like absolute crazy hell because of Ollie. Like, there's no question. It was because it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I'm a wise guy. Like, if they didn't come with the guns drawn, I probably would have been kind of a wise ass and probably gotten shot or something. But I was intimidated so much so quickly, but it was one of the most insane. I totally forgot about this. Crazy when we were talking about this question, but it was insane. And so I was just thinking to myself, what if he fit the description enough? They couldn't find the person, they plant some evidence or whatever. Like, in that moment, you can realize how these things really happen. And somebody wants to close down a situation and say, hey, we got the guy and move on, the same way they did with the Central Park 5. I can just only imagine what that feels like to be somebody like Jimmy Dennis. It's insane. And I'm sure, here's the funny part of this. I actually forgot that story because in my brain, that will never happen to me again. I guarantee you, if we call Ollie right now, he's going, yeah, I remember that, because he's the one thinking, hey, this is how my life ends. I'm saying this isn't real, is it? And he's probably saying this is a Thursday for me. This is what happens all the time in DC. This is just, stop and frisk and do what you will. So it's insane. And I can't think of a worse hell than having your life stolen and just thinking your entire existence is in between a few walls because of something somebody else says you did. I literally can't, even as I'm trying to process it, I can't come close to fathoming it. Like, I almost want to throw up thinking about it. It's that disgusting to me. Like, it's horrendous.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, like I'm sitting here picturing talking to Jimmy and I'm trying to decide what emotion is going to come out. Am I going to be crying? Am I going to be, laughing that he's out? Are we going to be, I just feel like it's going to be a roller coaster of like, holy crap, does this actually happen? So yeah, sorry.
No. It's definitely an emotional experience. And I got the pleasure of talking with him briefly. And wow, what an amazing soul. What an amazing soul. This is got for you guys tune in Friday. It's going to be a special 2-hour show where we're talking heart to heart with Jimmy. And the beautiful thing about this particular conversation is Jimmy does not do these interviews very often. Given the fact that he spent over 25 years on death row for a murder he did not commit. And given the fact that he has now been exonerated, he actually found people who fought and believed in him and actually got him proven innocent. So we're going to be talking about all those different aspects and what a beautiful person he is and was. And through that experience, what he's learned and what he's going to share with us about perseverance, courage, belief, tenacity, his daily routine for keeping himself sane, how he would start his day, everything he did to fight for his defense, and how he became educated and fought for his own release. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be one of the most amazing conversations that both Scott and I have ever had with an individual. We are blessed for this. So we ask you to tune in this Friday, like always, Unfiltered Experience, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be live with Mr. Jimmy Dennis, sharing his story. And more importantly as well, we are going to be sharing his music. Jimmy is a musician. He was a musician before he was incarcerated, had a career, had a beautiful opportunity to be setting out in a career as a musician. And fortunately, he did not lose that spirit nor that gift. So we're going to be diving into some of his music, which is very beautiful, beautifully written about life and about perspective. You guys may remember we did a show back when we did Friday Night Live. We had Wallace Johnson on. We were talking about his book, The 2020 Vision, and sharing poems about life and the diversity and the challenges of equality and equanimity in the world today when we were dealing with Black Lives Matter. Much the same, this is going to be a show about, like what Scott just said, the emotions up and down. How are we going to get through this? But just really encourage you to tune in, and please share this episode. I'm going to put the link here in just a minute, but this is going to be a very raw and real and very unfiltered conversation with Mr. Jimmy. So bring your questions, bring your engagement with you. Yeah, Scott, I'm just excited to break down with Jimmy and see what's going on and just learn from him and really see how the power of perspective and belief and fighting for your rights of innocent is going to come out in that conversation.
Yeah, the thing that we say this quite a bit, and we were saying this in our coaching group too, and we're always talking about this, in individual coaching, that everything's one step in front of the other. I want to hear his one-step experience and have him lay that out, because when we talk about one step in front of the other, it's take a step to find your dream job, take a step to find a relationship, he's literally take a step to figure out how to survive. I can't even imagine the word thrive when you're living in a box. And he must have done something to be able to come out, this blossoming, amazing being on the other side that, quite honestly, as a coach and as somebody who is pretty convinced that they're decent at what they do, I don't know I could have made it through that. And again, we can all come up with our theories, but whatever he experienced on the inside, everyone needs to share this far and wide, because there's no way that what he's going to teach us in those 2 hours is anything less than insanely amazing, because very few of us could go in there and walk out and still be a functioning human being, never mind a thriving human being. That's just an insane thing to think, and think of being on death row and that nobody believes in you, that, you're this horrible person. I mean, we're always talking about turning around the inner critic and the voice. I can't even imagine what he was going through. I literally can't wait to hear what he has to say for my own selfish learning. But more importantly, I just am excited for him to get his voice out there and share this far and wide, because anything he has to say is worth hearing, because there's very few people in that situation. Thank God. There's more than there should be. And the ones who come out thriving, man, I want to support them tenfold. Period.
Yep. Beautifully said, Scott. Beautifully said. And even in addition to that, I mean, there's just so much, guys. There's just so much that's going to be in this conversation that I could share with you. It is absolutely miraculous. I talked to him personally for about 25 minutes. I think it was last weekend or something like that, 2 weekends ago. And just an amazing soul. He started sharing. I said, just stop. I don't want to know any of this. I want to be able to hear it firsthand with everybody else on our show. So yeah, guys, tune in, bring your pad and pencil, and be prepared to be inspired, amazed, angered, and perhaps maybe even just a little inspired to go out there and help other people who perhaps might be wrongly convicted, or help other people who might be in a situation where they need a hand up rather than a foot down. So yes, we will see you. It will be this Friday. We'll put the link over here in the chat. We want to acknowledge Larry. What's up, Larry? Hey, good to see you here for this little special edition of the Unfiltered experience. Susan says, yes, that's horrible. Susan, you have no idea. It is incomprehensible, if that's the word. Incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible. It's close.
I went to school. I made it through the 7th grade. Yeah, no. So definitely, we will see you guys this Friday. Scott, any final parting words, sir?
I'm really looking forward to this because I'm so excited. This guy has his voice and freedom, and that's enough right there.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys go. Here's the link as well. If you guys forget the link, as always, you could just go to www.theunfilteredexperience.com, and that will forward you to our page. And there you can always be able to find our shows and what's coming up. Then you click get reminder, and then you're going to be in like Flint. You'll get a notice on your phone or your device. It'll say, hey, Chris and Scott are going live in a couple of minutes with an amazing guest. So of course, as always, we want you guys there and engaging with us. Scott, my brother, I love you. And I look forward to dancing with you on Friday. Meanwhile,
Happy Tuesday.
Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. We love you. You are Unfiltered crew. We love you guys. As always, send us messages and let us know what's on your mind, what you guys want for guests and topics. And Scott and I will be glad to deliver. Thank you guys. Have an awesome Tuesday, and we'll see you later.